Can't wait for that. Just coming off of a game at Georgia. Lost, gosh, I don't know. I'm on to the next one. I do know this. We beat them by 2 in the second half, and it wasn't because of they subbed in their 11th, 12th, 13th guys. So we are getting closer. I loved our competitiveness. Again, it's against a high-level SEC team, but we're not far off. We keep getting better. Looking forward now to coming home, playing South Alabama on Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. For Education Day, which is pretty cool. I've never been through an Education Day until I got here, and it's quite loud. I know that, with a bunch of young teenagers and middle schoolers and all that kind of stuff. So if you're an adult, you come with some ear pods or something to plug, because it's screaming all morning long. But I'm looking forward to getting back on the right track. We have, like I said, I think we're making really good strides. Just trying to figure out, pieces here and there. Guys figuring out their roles. Sometimes it takes longer than you want it to, but you got to be able, like Coach Cronin said, you got to be able to enjoy the process. And I think our guys are starting to figure out kind of where they fit in and how everybody else is fitting in. So I feel good, even though our record, like I said last week, isn't necessarily where it needs to be. But we're gonna start this homestand and get ready to rock and roll on Wednesday.
Given the loss to Georgia, also maybe one of your guys' most complete games. In terms of the assist totals, most threes you guys have hit all season. To do that against an SEC program on the road in their place and all those things together, I gotta assume more positives than negatives to take.
Yeah, no question. It was, and I think from a confidence standpoint, it should help. Some of our guys. I think we had 20 assists and 7 turnovers against an SEC opponent on the road. I think that's pretty impressive for our guys. Now, the free throw contest wasn't necessarily great. They shot 42, we shot 10. We did foul a little bit too much, but again, that happens when you go on the road. But yes, I think that gives them. There's a lot of positives walking out of that arena for sure Friday night.
Would you say this team feels just overall pretty encouraged about where you guys are headed, especially after that game?
Yeah, I think so, because the next day we practiced at 10:30 or something like that in the morning, and it was great. The energy was good. They weren't acting all tired and all that kind of stuff. It was really good. It was short and sweet, but to answer your question, absolutely.
4 guys with more than 1 3-pointer, I think, in that game. You talked at the beginning of the season about the added shooters that you've gotten. How would you kind of assess where those guys are at right now?
Yeah, man, it was such a relief seeing some of those go in, and I'm sure some of they put in a lot of work, and it goes back to, if some of those guys aren't putting in work, then yeah, they're probably not going to go in. But you have to give them confidence, and they're in the gym doing extra shooting, doing all that stuff that they're supposed to. If you continue to do that, you're only going to get better, and it's gonna. With shooters, you got to let them, as long as we're taking good ones and they're in rhythm and it's what you practice, then I'm a firm believer they're going to go in eventually. You can't just lose your mind because you miss a few.
You guys have been on the road a long time. December, pretty much the entire month at home. How nice is that? It's just a relief from that road stretch there.
Yeah, it's going to be good, but we can't relax. We got to take care of business. Like, this is a really important stretch, and we got a number 1 to South Alabama. So I think that's something we got to get on a roll here, and I firmly believe that we're going to do that, and we're going to have the right attitude to do it.
My experience through the first 6 games, it's a lot different than anything I've been through before. So I came from High Point, as he just stated, but getting to know an entirely new team, gel with them on the court has been, an experience that I'll be living and telling my kids for. I've got a whole new set of brothers now. We go through challenges together, starting with summer school. We came over the summer and, got straight to work. But I really, really enjoyed my experience, and I feel like we're coming together really well. And like Coach Gary said, I feel like we're about to start clicking at the right time. We're getting better every game, and I look forward to what we'll do together.
What made you want to come to Mercer?
For the most part, I just felt like, as soon as I stepped foot on campus, Coach Gary, Coach Coomer, Coach Lewis, all the coaching staff made me, feel like I was at home. They kept it real with me from the start. They said, your the way you play or how much you play is going to determine how much work you put in. You have to earn everything you give. And so I took that to heart because I can really appreciate that. And, and also, a couple dudes on the team were here on my visit, and, I just felt like I would get along with them really well. So those are the people I'd be, going to war with. So I felt like it was the right place for me.
Coach just told me that maybe shooting threes wasn't something that you did much before this season. You knocked down a couple. How good does that feel?
It's actually a relief. I always felt like I could shoot the ball a little bit, but, I wasn't really allowed to in my previous school. So, Coach Gary, gives me a lot of confidence to do what, I've always thought I can do it now. I just, kind of showed that, proved myself right, So it felt really good, though.
Yeah, given, your guys' performance against Georgia, a lot of positives to take away from that game. What did you kind of take from that experience on the road, SEC arena, and the fact that you guys played as well as you did, especially in the second half?
It just gives me, the feeling that we can play with anybody. As long as we put our heads down and keep grinding every possession, that we can play with anybody. And especially for, the freshmen, I know it's a confidence builder for them because, they might come from high school, expecting, them to be so much better than, a mid-major school. But I think that goes to show them that, basketball is basketball. They put their pants on like we put our pants on, and we can play with anybody in the country. So I just think it's an overall confidence booster for our team. And, like I said, I think we're going to do some really special things. We're starting to click at the right time.
You've barely gotten to play in Hawkins Arena. Now you get to play, I think, 6 straight this month. What's that feeling going to be like, just getting to play at home finally?
It's a solid relief, traveling, kind of takes a toll on you, mentally, having to go play in a foreign place, not necessarily, know the rims, know the ins and outs, the fans of the other team, chirping at you. But, finally the fans will be on our side and, giving us more confidence and making us play harder and giving us something more to play for, protecting home court. So, it's really a solid relief.
Alex, outside of the three-point shooting, what are the other aspects? What do you feel like you bring to this team to help it to maximize and win basketball games?
I feel like I bring a certain level of physicality. I feel like I had a little bit of leadership in terms of the experience of the years I played at High Point. And I feel like I just provide some energy plays whenever we need them.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.